All right, here we go. So you can see at the top of your notes, we are on day 2 of this stuff. So we're doing more of what we did yesterday, but it's going to get a little bit more difficult. Not much, just a little bit. Okay, let's start not at page 7. Let's start here. It says that we need to evaluate these things, and I give you a bunch of letters and a bunch of numbers up there. What do you think I'm going to do with those numbers? We're going to substitute them in for the variables. For example, that says 5a. Do I know what a equals? 2. So I'm going to put that in there. Now, when I do that, am I going to go like that and make it 52? No. What's happening between the 5 and the a? It's multiplication. We're going to use parentheses. So what's the final answer here? 10? How are we doing? Dalton, you doing okay? 10. All right, let's move on to number 2. What am I going to put in there for the b? So I'm going to go ahead and put that in parentheses. What am I putting in for the c? So we'll add 3. Everybody following engaged so far? I need a yes or a no here, guys. Okay, so you can type this into your calculator just like this, especially if you have one of these. Parentheses and everything, exactly how you see it. What's that? I didn't hear what you said. What's your final answer here, guys? 73? Lucas, did you get 73 or no? Okay. Quentin, how you doing? Fine? I forget your name. Can you help me out? Cody, did you get 73? Are you sure we're all good with 73? Trevor, you're good? Okay. You have to ask if you don't know how to work a calculator, because I can't help you if I don't know you need help. What am I putting in for A? Then I'm going to multiply by B, which is -5, and then I'm going to subtract C, which is 3. Type it all in, just like that. Do you know how to use those parentheses? Good? Lucas, do you need help or you're good? Oh, that's nice of you. You're okay? Okay. How much? He says -13. What do you guys think? A-okay? All right. Let's move on to some that are a little bit harder. Oh, not quite yet, I guess. What am I putting in there for B? Now, folks, take a look at that. That looks ridiculous, doesn't it? I'm going to put parentheses around this -5. That looks a little bit better. Type it in. What do we got? 14? 14? Feeling good with 14? Okay. What's wrong, Tyler? Not so much with the 14? You're all right, though? Okay. All right, now they're getting a little bit longer, right? Okay, what am I putting in there for the A? 2 plus, what am I putting in there for the B? Now, again, that looks pretty silly, doesn't it? It can't just be the plus. You could change them into brackets if you wanted. These things could now look like this if you didn't like having both of the parentheses together. Yep. Quentin, did you have a question or no? Hold on a second. I'm not done yet. Minus, what am I putting in for A? 2. And then a 3 for the C. Now again, you could type all of this in just like you see it. So grab your calculator. I'm going to fix this up a little bit here. Type it in just like you see it. All those parentheses, just how you see it. I don't think your parentheses work the same way that theirs do, right? Do you know how to work it? Okay. What do we get? 7, negative 12. 7. What'd you get, Trevor? Negative 33. Oh my goodness, everybody in here got a different answer? Clear out your calculators. Are you ready? Ready to type it in? Negative 4, parentheses, 2 plus parentheses. Make sure it's not a closed parentheses. It's another open parentheses, okay? Negative 5, then parentheses, minus parentheses 2 plus 3 parentheses. I think the consensus is 7. Okay, I don't know how your phone will work. You need to have a regular calculator. Let's do it in pieces then, okay? Ready? What is 2 plus negative 5? You can tell me that. Negative 3. Now what's negative 4 times negative 3? 12. What's 2 plus 3? So what's 12 minus 5? 7 is the good answer. You probably had to do it like that in your calculator, right, Quentin? Okay. How we doing? Okay, big old fraction over there, right? We're going to treat this fraction like 2 separate problems. We're going to do the whole top first, then we're going to divide it by the bottom. So, what am I putting in for A? B? And then the C was 3. Okay, numerator. Remember, numerator is the top. Type it in. What does the numerator give you? She says negative 1. Thinking negative 1, Cody? I don't know how far I can go with this cord. Let me see. Okay, so we're only doing the numerator. We're not going to do the dividing by 3 yet. Is that okay? So we're going to wait to do, did you get negative 1? Okay, so the numerator is negative 1. And now you need to take that negative 1 and divide it by 3. You probably get this. I want to make sure you know how to change those decimals back into fractions, though. Do you guys see your second button on your calculator? It should be a different color. Does everybody have the 0.0333 all in there? Okay, press the second button. And then you're going to hit the PRB button. So yours does it for you. Do you know how to turn that into a decimal?
But you have to divide the 2?
Yeah, but I just did that in it. So we'll have to figure your calculator out to make it turn into a decimal. Because it puts it right into a fraction. How'd we do? Did you guys turn it into fractions okay? Yep, and press equals then. And it should turn it into a fraction for you. Is that okay? How we doing? Good or not good? Good? Okay. So this or this would be my answer. Either one of those is okay. All right, ready to move on? Okay, these word problems tell me to read each situation and write an algebraic expression. We talked about algebraic expressions yesterday. What does it mean to be algebraic? Folks, I'm up here. Thank you. What does it mean to be algebraic? It has to have a variable. What does an expression not have? An equal sign. Okay, so if I write it, you write it. Okay, so I'm going to read it out loud. You're going to follow along. Here we go. A bakery sells bagels for $8.50 a dozen and donuts for $3.99 a dozen. Determine the cost of purchasing B dozen bagels and D dozen bagels. Do they give me variables to use? Yes. So, how much does a dozen bagels cost? Bagels are $8.50. How many dozen bagels am I going to buy? I don't know. They didn't tell me, did they? But what did they tell me to use since I don't know? B, what are you going to do with your $8.50 and your B to show how much you would pay? Times B, or I can just push them together and make it $8.50B. Everybody all right with that? Okay. How about the donuts? How much are we paying for donuts? How many dozen donuts am I buying? Don't know. What are they telling me to use? B or D, excuse me. So how would I represent that? $3.99 times D. So if I told you I'm buying 5 dozen bagels and 3 dozen donuts, you could plug it in and then you could tell me how much we have to pay. Make sense? You sure? Okay. Let's do that. Let's buy 5 dozen bagels. And let's buy 3 dozen donuts. Can you tell me how much the bill would be? Type it in your calculator. How much? $54.47, like that. Can I get a second on that? Anybody else get that same thing as Tyler did? Did we type it in? Quentin says it's good. Savannah says it's good. Okay. Moving along. Car rental company charges $40 per D day to rent a car. 5 cents for every mile driven, and a flat $10 insurance fee. Determine the total cost of the rental. How much for a day? How many days am I renting it for? Don't know. What do they tell me to use? So how would you represent that? Okay. How about the miles? How much for a mile? How do I show 5 cents? 5 is $5. 0.5 is 50 cents. 0.05 is what I'm looking for 5 cents. Hold on, how many miles did I go? M. And then a flat rate of $10. Should I make up an I for insurance to put on that $10? No, because it's a flat fee. Everybody see that? No matter what, it's $10. What should I do with all these? To find the total, what would I do? Don't actually need the parentheses, but you'll still get the same thing. We can just do it all like that. How we doing? As long as it's a total, and think about it, if you rent a car, the more you drive, the more you're going to pay, so it'll go up and up and up. Okay. Moving on. The area of a triangle is calculated by finding half of the product of its base B and height H. How do I show a half? One over 2. That's a half. It says half of the product. What does product mean to do? Multiply. What am I going to be multiplying? Base times height, and what am I using? Perfect. Perfect. Everything's getting multiplied together. Now, half is the same thing as dividing by 2, isn't it? So you also could have this. Or you could do it like this if you wanted to use your dividing symbol. All those things mean the same thing. Questions for me? Yep, go ahead. When you do half of something, it's the same as dividing by 2. It's okay. If we do a fourth of something, it'd be the same thing as dividing by 4. You read this one to yourself. There's something a little bit different about this one. I want to know what it is. Oh, do you not have notes, Cody? Did you get out? They're right there. Go grab it. You can start filling them in. And then just watch that recording tonight and fill in the ones that you missed, okay? You should have said something. I would have stopped. We're not going to start over. What's different? There's two different things. I've got over 2 and under 2, right? What else is different about this problem than the other problems? There's no variables. You have to pick your own variables. And you have to define them. You know, in social studies and in English, when you have to define vocabulary words? Same kind of thing. I want to know what letters you want to use for over 2 and under 2. X and Y. Is that okay for everybody? Which one do you want X to be, Quentin? X is going to be over 2, and Y is going to be under 2. Sounds good? So now I need to represent the situation. How much does she charge for over 2? For over 2. $2. How do I show that then if over 2 is X? Over 2, there we go, 2X. How much for under 2? So how would you show that? Do you have to use X and Y? No, as long as you tell me what your variables are, you can use anything you want except for O, because it looks like a 0. A-okay? Moving on. Go ahead and read it. Again, we have no variables. Can you tell me what two things need to have variables? What are they talking about? Scented and unscented. What variables do you guys want to use? U for unscented, she says. X for scented. Okay, so can somebody then write me an expression? Now that we have variables and we define them, can somebody write me an expression? Perfect. Perfect. Let's take it a little bit further. I want to buy 2 unscented and 3 scented. How much is it going to cost me? 2 unscented and 3 scented. No, after we plug something in, we don't need the variable anymore. Good question. You gonna type it in? Come on. How much? $32? Okay. Was that the last one on the front? Okay, let's flip it over to the back. Go ahead and read it. Let's see if you can do this one on your own. They give you the variables, so all you have to do is write the expression. Yeah, a T probably would be a poor choice as well. I always think that L's are bad too, Savannah, because L's can look like 1s. But go ahead, try it. Use the variables they've given you. Use the numbers they give you. Write me an algebraic expression. How many people are going to the movies? I have no idea. What are they telling me to use? What are they telling me to use? P for the number of people that are going. They're also telling me it's $8 a ticket. So how do I represent that then? 8P. Okay. How many bags of popcorn are we buying? I'm not buying any. I don't know how many, right? B for bags of popcorn. You're saying 4B. And how about the drinks? 2D. I don't know about you guys, but I want to go to this movie theater. That seems pretty cheap. Oh, I did put a P again for pop, but they told me to use D for drinks. How we doing, guys? You sure we're okay? I think I want to skip down. And I think I want to go. I want to go down to number 11, please, if you don't mind. Number 11. Yep. Number 11. There's no variables. You are correct, so you need to make your own. What don't I know? What do you need variables for? Well, hold on. I know I'm making 40 pastries, though. What don't I know about the pastries? How much they cost. So whatever you're going to use for pastries, it's the amount of money for the pastries. What else do you not know? What else do you not know? How much the coffee costs. So I need to know how much money for each coffee. You guys want to give me a variable or two? K and A? Okay, we'll go with K and A. Do you have to use K and A? No. How do you represent your portion for the pastries here? Good. Okay. Okay. What are we going to add? 50 period, right? Yeah. No, nothing on that 50. Because does that 50 vary? No, it's a flat $50. Varies mean variables. That thing doesn't vary, so it doesn't get a variable. All right. 13, please. 13. On your own. I'm going to tell you to use A and K, please. A and K. What did you guys use to define the A? What about the adults? Is it the number of adults or the amount of money? The cost for the adults. What about for the K? Cost for the kids. And then what'd you write for your expression? How'd y'all do? We do okay? Just fine? Okay, let's go back up above that to Joe, number 12. Number 12, please. Go ahead and read about Joe. He plays baseball. The key word here is average. How do you find an average? Divide. You add them all up and divide by the number of games. Do I know how many games he played? What do you want to use? G? So then what would your expression be? Or you could have 1125 over G. Perfect. I think we're getting the hang of it. We doing okay? Good. Why don't you go up and do number 10, Mr. Martinez? On your own, please. Go ahead and read about Mr. Martinez there. Yeah. This one? Do you have variables? No. What do you want to use, or what do I not know about? I guess I should ask first. Cost for what? You got it. I need the cost of keychains, and I need the cost of pencils. What do you guys want to use? Wonderful. So then what kind of expression did you write for me? Got it. Perfect. Perfect. All right, I have 3 more left, right? Okay. Let's go up to number 7. We're going to go from easiest to hardest here on these 3. Number 7. It says Leanne is 3 centimeters taller than Fred. If Fred's height is F centimeters, then what is Leanne's height? They're telling me the variable F for Fred, right? But they want me to write the expression for Leanne, correct? So you got to figure out, what do you have to do to Fred's height to make Leanne's height? But Leanne is taller than Fred. If I'm going to get taller, what am I going to use? Adding. Is that good for everybody? So if I take Fred, what do I need to add to him to get to Leanne? Excuse me. There we go. F plus 3 will give me Louisa's height. Good. This was a little bit more difficult. Okay. Maria has 10 more than Louisa. If Maria has M dollars, then how much does Louisa have? Who do they give me the variable for? Maria. But I want to know about Louisa, correct? So if I know Maria has 10 more than Louisa, I have M. How would I go from Maria's amount to Louisa's amount? It does say more than, but they already tell me how much Maria has, and I want to find Louisa. So we actually have to go down there, Tyler. M minus 10. That's why it's a little bit tricky. You can't switch them. You cannot switch subtraction. Nope. All right, this is the hard one. I'm going to give you an example before we do this one. Are you ready? The sum of 2 numbers is 20. One of the numbers is 5. What's the other number? Perfect. It's 15, right? He subtracted, right? Okay, so let's do this problem now. The sum of 2 numbers is 17. One of the numbers is x. What's the other number? 17 minus x. Perfect. That's what you did with the 21, right? Yeah, good. How we doing, folks? Pretty good? Okay, you're going to have a worksheet for homework tonight. That needs to go in your binder. We'll do a binder check tomorrow. Okay.